Okay, let's do a few examples on greatest common factor, the GCF. So we have um, the question is asking us list all the factors of the given numbers. So we have 48. So we're going to list all the factors of 48. So 1 goes into 48, 2 would go into 48, 3 would go into 48, 4 would go into 48, 6 would go into 48, 8 would go into 48, 12 would go into 48, 16 would go into 48, 24 would go into 24 would go into 48, and 48 of course would go into 48. So these would be all the factors of 48 right here. So this is the answer. Okay, we want to go to the next example. Simplify these fractions if possible. Your work above can help. So we have 48 over 66. So let's say the greatest common factor between 48 over 66 would be 6. So I'm going to divide 6 on both sides of the fraction. So we have 48 divided by 6 is 8, and 66 divided by 6 is 11. So our final answer to this would be 8 over 11 and cannot be simplified anymore, so this is the final answer. Okay, we want to find the greatest common factor of the given numbers. We have 18, 24, and 36. So we're going to list the factors of each of the three numbers. So 18, we have 1 would go into 18, 2 would go into 18, 3 would go into 18, 6 would go into 18, 9 would go into 18, and 18 would go into 18. 24, 1 would go into 24, 2 would go into 24, 3 would go into 24, 4 would go into 24, 6 would go into 24, 8 would go to 24, 12 would go into 24, and 24 would go into 24. And now we have 36, 1 would go to 36, 2 would go into 36, 3 would go into 36, 4 would go into 36, 6 would go into 36, 9 would go into 36, 12 would go into 36, 18 would go into 36, and 36 would go into 36. And now we gotta find the greatest common factor. One is they have common, but they have 1 and 1, 2 and 2 and 2, 3 and 3 and 3. We have 4 here and 4 here, but no 4 here, so forget about that. 6, we can underline 6. All of them have 6 as their common factor. So the greatest common factor would be 6, as you can see. All three of these numbers, the greatest common factor between all these three numbers would be 6. So this would be the final answer. We want to find the greatest common factor of the numbers. So we have 120 and 66. So I'm going to use the factor tree like we did in a couple lessons before. So we have 120 times 66. I'm going to break this 120 into 6 times 20. I could break this 6 into 2 times 3. And I could break this 20 into 5 times 4. For this 66, I could break this down to 11 times 6. And I could break this 6 into 2 and 3. And as you can see, if I multiply all these right here in the bottom, plus this 11 right here, so let me multiply 2 times 3 times 5 times 4 times 11 times 2 times 3 would give me the final answer to this. And I'm going to do it in my calculator, so give me a second or two. So the final answer to this would be 7,920. Now if I just multiplied 120 times 66, we would get the same result. So it would be 7,920. And as you can see, I did it with the factor tree by breaking down the numbers, and I still got the same results. And I could get the same results by just doing 120 times 66. So this is the final answer right here. So we would turn out to 7,920. But the question is asking us find the greatest common factor of the numbers. So the greatest would be 6. So the GCF would be 6. So this is the final answer. So let's now move on to a few exercise problems so we understand the concept of what are we doing here.